Jono, how you going, brother?
Hey, good. How are you, mate? How are you?
Good, mate. Good. It is Team List Tuesday, and we are the Parra Pit, and it looks like an interesting list. Have you had a squeeze?
Yeah, I've had a quick peruse of our team list, mate. This time of year, it always seems like interesting.
Yeah, it's starting to get there already, isn't it? It's already the team's starting to put itself together, really, isn't it?
As hard as our opening sort of draw is, it still seems almost experimental, some of these positions, but
it's a valid point. Yeah.
We're not the master coach here.
Let's go through the team. At fullback number 1, we have Clinton the King Gutherson. 2, Wonga Blake. 3, Will Penasini. 4, Tom Mr. Giggles Opacek. Should I give them all nicknames? I suppose I should. 5 is Bailey Simonson. Don't really have a nickname for him yet. Dillbags is at 6. We have Mitch Moses at 7. 8 is RCG, Regan Campbell-Gillard. Number 9 is Reed Show Me the Money. 10 is Junior Paulo. 11, Sean Lane. 12 is the Iceman, Isaiah Papalia. 13 is Nathan Brown. And on the bench, we have 14, Maka, Triple Maka. 15, we have, oh my goodness, I'm very excited about this. Wiremu Greg is number 15 on the bench this week. 16 is Ray Cannonball Stone. And 17 is Oregon Kafusi. Don't really have a nickname for him either. Kafusi says? I don't know, something like that. That, Jono, is the team. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, it's good. It's strong. The bench is strong.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
We're going up against Melbourne, who's going to be physical in Melbourne. So
yeah,
I like that we're matching fire with fire in terms of big men coming off the bench, ready to rip in.
You have to say that Wiremu Greg has been put in the team to go up against Arse of a Solomona, which is what I like to call him. Big Nelson. I wouldn't say it to his face, mind you, or his arse for that matter, but Arse of a Solomona. Yes. So Wiremu, I think that Wiremu's in the team to go, fight fire with fire, as you said.
It's just a size battle, Junior and RCG are big enough, but having more size coming off the bench in Wiremu Greg and Maka. He's not the biggest forward, but he's mobile enough. But I think there's very much there's going to be a Basham style of football. I think that's what Brad Arthur's at least suggesting is going to happen, at least with who he's named.
So a lot of people on the Facebook groups calling for Ray Stone's head this week. They wanted him to sit out as punishment for his stupid cannonball tackle, and it was a stupid tackle. The player was all wrapped up, wasn't going anywhere, and he just dived in at the ankles with 1 minute to go. Not saying he caused us the match, but it didn't help. And a lot of people saying they wanted him to sit out this week. However, I think we need him up against the Melbourne forwards. He does cut people in half, and they've got some big boys who need chopping.
I think we do. Let's not forget Ryan Madison's not there, and Oregon Marata Niokore is not there either.
That's a big miss.
So we don't have an option to swap him out at this stage.
No.
But I think he's solid enough. I think we need him there regardless of the costly penalty that he did concede. There was a few things that went against us. Let's not forget Oregon Kafusi and Bailey Simonson both scored tries that were disallowed in that first half. So, the game could have easily gone the other way.
I don't want to go down this avenue either, but I shall. The amount of forward passes they got away with was ridiculous. The try that won them the game was a full-on basketball pass forward.
Yes,
you can't argue that it floated forward. It didn't float forward. It was thrown.
It was pushed forward. It was pushed forwards. Yeah, I thought I was seeing things, but live, my first reaction was that was a forward pass, and then no one looked at it, No one called it.
No.
You know, wasn't there this thing where they were going to trial technology to rule on forward passes? Because,
Yeah.
you know, if the bunker's not going to, if the touch judge isn't going to say anything and the bunker's not going to say anything, just start gridiron throwing the ball, because clearly
Well, the
people have
touchy
been
was
getting away
there.
with it.
I mean, the touchy was
Yeah.
right there. So it's up to him to call it. He was right there. He didn't. But there was
his
so
job.
many forward passes they got away with during that game. There was a plethora of them. It wasn't just that one. It's almost ironic that they won the game with a forward pass. But we're gonna also have to talk about Jake Arthur on the bench, who literally warmed the bench for the entire game. He didn't play a minute. What is the point of having a player on the bench who doesn't play? What's the point of that?
We've got to address the elephant in the room, don't we?
Yeah.
I said last week, I gave Brad a stay of execution saying it wasn't nepotism, because he was willing to drop Jake.
Yeah.
And then an hour before the game, he puts him back in the squad.
Yeah. So Cartwright misses out 1 hour before. And now this week, Jake Arthur is not in the team. When I first saw it, I thought, okay, BA's learned his lesson, but no, he hasn't. Jake Arthur had an appendix, his appendix out or something, didn't he? Appendectomy
appendicitis, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting that had he not had his appendix out, Brad would have picked him again?
Mate, I don't think so. I mean, how can you re-pick a player who didn't play a minute? I'm very confused by this whole thing. Like, I don't know why you would have tiring. Our forwards were getting tired. They were cramping. Iceman in particular was like a slug the last 15 minutes. He was done. He needed to get off. I would much rather you throw Jake Arthur out there, a 19-year-old kid who can tackle. He's quite a good tackler. You throw him out there fresh as a daisy to take on Nico, because Nico was just running around our forwards in the last 15 minutes. So you stick a fresh 19-year-old kid out there rather than have a tiring forward. It just didn't make any sense to me. Why did he have him on the bench? You leave Cartwright out, put him in, and then don't play him. It doesn't make any sense.
Does Brad know something we don't? Is Mitch hurt?
That's the only thing I can think of, is Mitch must be carrying an injury.
He picks the cork up during the game, but aside from that, he ran. Like, he scored that runaway try right before half time, so he seemed fine.
He got smashed in a late tackle when he was kicking. He got kneed to his thigh. He got corked. I think Parramatta actually was launching an official complaint about them targeting him. And Mitch still got up like he's made of rubber and kept going. So if he was carrying an injury, surely it would have been compromised during all those incidents. But so then you go back to, he wasn't carrying an injury. So is Dilbad's
Why do you have a specialist? Why do you have a specialist half on the bench unless you know that one of your guys isn't going to make it through the game?
He can't play any other position. He can't play any other position.
Was he that concerned of Mitch being targeted that he had a fear of Mitch being hurt?
Well, then why against the Titans did he play? Like, mate, I'm scratching my head with this one a little bit. I really am. I don't know what BA is thinking with this. I think we need to move on because I think there's no answer to this, and it concerns me. I'll tell you what, it concerns me because once Jake is fit to play in another, apparently he's out for 6 weeks. Is he back on the bench in 6 weeks' time? I mean,
I hope not.
Do we get to the finals and all of a sudden the master stroke is to put Jake on the bench and sit him there and not have him play a minute? Like, that
scares me.
It doesn't make any sense to play a game when you got fatiguing forwards. It's the second game of the year. Like, the whole team across the board, every single team across the weekend were cramping in the last 10 minutes. Some of those Rabbitohs players, they were done, and the Broncos, they were done. It's, a lot of players were done by that time. So the coach brings on the bench players, gets them off, rotates them. it just doesn't make any sense to have a fully fresh player sit on the bench for a whole game and not play.
Exactly. Like, what's he think? Like, does he think the Parramatta is going to be 30 points ahead and he can just trot him out in the last 10 for shits and giggles?
I don't know what the plan is, man. Like, I don't.
Like, and no one's asked him directly what the plan is. Why is no one fucking asking him?
Get him into the press conference. The press conference went for 1.5 minutes.
Yeah. No one asked him.
Question.
Why is your son on the bench that played 0 minutes when the forward Raystone would have been back on the bench had Cartwright been there and not made that bullshit cannonball tackle, and we don't give away the penalty, and we probably win the game?
How good would it have been to bring Bryce? How good would it have been to have been able to bring on Bryce Cartwright with 20 minutes to go? He would have just been absolutely tearing them up, I think. And
looking for footwork, looking for an offload, just something. Or he's big enough to make tackles on, I forget the name of the try scorer that won them the game, but he would have been out on that flank. He would have been him and Gutho stopping their second rower from scoring that final try, or at least he would have had the energy to try and like go with Nico Hines to shut down the play down earlier.
But not only that, I mean, if you just take the psychology side into account, you bring on these fast, fresh players and it lifts everyone else. Other than looking around, seeing your teammates cramping over here, cramping over there, you see some guy run on and he does a massive run. I mean, it's well known if you see your teammate do an inspirational run, they refer to it as. You know, if he comes on and does that, I mean, I think we need to move on because I think we could bitch and moan about this for a full half an hour. We'll move on for now because we've got a few other things to talk about. We've got to talk about our defense or lack of. I think we let in, did we have 50 missed tackles? I think last week we had 40 missed tackles. I think this week we had the same. What's going on with the missed tackles?
It's not first grade quality. And I don't think we can blame the fact that, okay, we're missing a winger. We're missing one winger, essentially. Bailey Simonson's still on the other wing.
Yeah.
What's everyone in the middle of the park doing? Why is Mitch missing tackles? Why is Dylan missing tackles? Why is Junior missing tackles?
They very much seem to be doing one-off tackles to me. Like they're not tackling in numbers at the moment. There seems to be a lot of one-off tackles and the opposition getting up and breaking the tackle and just taking off again. Like it seems to be, I don't know, like David Kidwell's just been re-signed for another year. Like they're obviously happy with the defensive job that he's coaching. So
they'd be the only one. Their first try, let's not forget, their first try was Gutho falling off Mulatalo.
Yeah, it was too. Like Gutho's he's very slowly getting his way back in. I think that bringing Nathan Brown, as soon as Nathan Brown came on, his combination with Gutho up the middle, you could see
that team
Gutho
lifted.
Yeah, it was brilliant. And that's what Gutho needed. Gutho needed Brown smashing down the middle, him running off. All of a sudden we started to make meters there. We had Mitch and Sean Lane doing some good combinations out to the left. I mean, I was impressed with Sean, and
I've got that try for Reed. Yeah, he did.
I have to say too, I've been quite hard on Sean Lane, but going back to what I used to say, if he plays 20, rest 20, play 20, rest 20. If you use him on the interchange, but he's never used that way. He's always used as an 80-minute player. I'm 100% convinced that he is conserving energy in the first 40 minutes. 100%, because he knows he's not getting taken off. And when it gets to about the 60-minute mark and he's been gassing and the halves have been running around him and making him look stupid, that's when we've all been yelling for his head, saying, well, all these missed tackles, he looks sluggish. So I reckon he's just gone, well, I'm playing 80, so I've got to conserve my energy, because we saw him in the trials. He was just smashing holes offensively and defensively, and he was playing the way you want him to be played. And I just think because he knew he was coming off, he knew he wasn't playing
because he knew he was going to get subbed off at half time. He knew.
Yeah.
It's like, great. Now I'm only playing 40 minutes. I'm going to go blow the gas tank now. I think you're right. There's got to be. No one knows a player's game like the player does.
Yep.
And if that's Sean's mentality, or his worry or his fear.
Well, I can't blame him. I can't even blame
Yeah,
him. If it was
exactly.
me, I'd be doing the same. I'd be like, well, I have to play 80 minutes. I'm not
Yeah,
getting
it's like I'm not
subbed.
coming off.
Yeah, I have to conserve my energy. I can't be chasing for 80 meters, on a runaway try. I'll give you 10 and then I'm stopping. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I can't be doing that, because if I go for an 80-minute sprint, then I'm done by the end of the game. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that this is the same shit. The bench rotation has always absolutely fucked us, to be honest with you. And it's the same shit happening again. Why you would play an entire match with only 16 men, and unless he's
Against a physical, and look at the Sharks forward pack for Nicken and Rudolph and for Fafita, and you need someone out there to stop those boys.
and
Like, what are you
unless
doing?
Jake unless he was sick and his appendix was like going to burst, and that's why they didn't play him during the game, because I don't know when he got his operation. It must have been Monday, so
Yeah.
it must have been the day or two after playing. But then why change Cartwright? Why do the mate, scratching my bloody head again? I don't know.
He was there. He was there until an hour before kickoff, and the wrong decision was made. And you can't say Jake cost us the game, but the decision to put him on the bench probably did.
100%. Let's reiterate. No hate at
It's
Jake.
not Jake's fault.
No, he's a great player. It's a future great player. He should be playing. He should be learning how to be a halfback in New South Wales Cup. He should be practicing week in, week out. And he's not. He just sat on the bench. He sat out this week. His game didn't get any better this week because he sat on the bench instead of going to play New South Wales Cup and learning his skill. Come towards the end of the year, if Mitch is injured and we need him to step up as halfback, everyone will support him. But he needs to be honing his skills week in, week out, so that when he comes into the team later in the year, he just slots in as a halfback and he's got all of his halfback skills up to speed, and that's not going to happen.
It's a lose-lose situation. He's not getting any game time.
Yeah.
And we're losing a bench spot because we've got nowhere to play him.
So why do it? I mean, it
We've
makes no
circled back
sense.
to this again.
I know.
We've circled back to this again. We said we were leaving it, but it's so fucking frustrating.
I think I've said let's move on 3 times, so let's move on. Well, Jake's not playing this week once again. Not angry at Jake. Let's see how we go with Wiramu Greg, because I think Wiramu Greg is going to be a brilliant player for us. He's got some size. I think he's going to learn a lot in this game, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with him not having, 100% game. I'm fine with him learning some lessons in this game, because I think he will. The Melbourne forwards are notorious, for being brutal. So he's getting thrown into it. So I think he's going to do great. He's going to learn a lot.
Yes.
I'm all for it. So
as long as he's growing his mullet back.
The mullet's gone. It's a bit of a concern, to be honest. It's a bit of the Samson thing when you chop your hair.
The Samson theory, yes.
Yeah. So let's see if he's still got his strength. Apparently he did all right last week in New South Wales Cup.
There's a reason he was picked, at least.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've heard too in New South Wales Cup that Hayes Perham once again had another blinder. And so what's he got to do to get a utility spot on that bench? I mean, if he's tearing it up. Anyway, we'll keep an eye on him down the track.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tom Opacek, I really like him, but not so much as a play. Every time he gets the ball, the play seems to just freeze. Like every time he gets the ball, it's like a full stop. It's just kind of like, okay, what do I do? I don't know.
He's there because we have no one else. I mean, Hayes could maybe play center, but
yeah, I don't think it's big enough for center. I think the plan was to sign Jermaine Asako.
Jermaine Asako.
And stick him on the wing and then put Wonga back in the centers. I think that was the plan. But, I think you pointed out he probably just didn't want to leave Queensland, and that's fair enough. But surely we had enough money to throw at him, to tempt him just for the year. He's going to the Dolphins next year. He would have been a handy player to come and play for us. So
not enough money to tempt him to Sydney for 9 months, but unfortunately,
I
but
keep
I
trying to
think he
tempt
just.
you to come to Sydney, and you won't come to Sydney. You like it too much up there in Queensland, mate.
I'm coming to Sydney for a visit next week.
You
right?
are.
That's all you're getting from me there.
Yeah, you and Barry coming down for the St. George game. I think we initially said, well, we'll do the St. George game because we thought, oh, we'll probably get a victory there. So, but I'm not too sure now. I mean, yeah. Well, how did St.
I
George
don't think
go?
the Dragons are they're not as bad as we think. I don't think.
No,
I think it might be a little bit closer. I don't think it ought to be one of those typical Bankwest smashings.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll see.
Hopefully it is.
A bit of turmoil with George Burgess getting his dong out again. I don't know what he did, but there might be a bit of turmoil with St. George. So hopefully
they've named him. But
have they?
We're getting ahead of ourselves. But yeah, they've named him.
Let's concentrate on the Storm. It's at Amy Park. I mean, we have won the last 3 against the Storm. I think this will be our 4th.
That's yeah.
Is it
yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
The 2 games last year were absolutely outstanding, by the way.
Yeah. And Storm aren't looking that good. I mean, they're much better.
They almost lost to the Rabbitohs, and the Rabbitohs were nowhere for 65 minutes. So I think, but that's probably all the fuel that Bellamy needs to light a fire under them at training. So don't expect them to take the foot off the gas at all for 80 minutes this weekend.
Well, it has to be said that a lot of their structure and the reason that they won last week, the Storm, was because of Harry Grant. And did you see who just caught COVID?
Oh, did he catch COVID?
Oh, he's got COVID. So guess who's not playing? Harry Grant.
And Brandon Smith still got a broken hand, so they got no hooker.
They got no hooker. So if we were ever going to roll
how
them,
convenient is that?
I know. I'm quite happy. we shouldn't take pleasure in other people's misfortune, but when it comes to the Storm, fuck Melbourne is what we say. So
fuck Melbourne.
Fuck Melbourne. And I think if we miss 40 tackles, we lose. It's that simple. I mean, especially to Storm. I think Pappenhausen will tear us apart, and Munster will as well. And I'll tell you,
and Jerome Hughes as well.
Xavier Coates on the wing, and we've been quite weak on the wings. And Xavier's looking an absolute gun, and Hughes is very good at dropping it on his chest when he's bloody up in the air. Sounds a bit sus, but we'll go with it.
There's a reason Xavier Coates is in my super coach team. It's because everyone slept on him.
Yeah.
He is going to be a try-scoring machine when that Melbourne team is fit and firing.
I think I burnt a trade on him this week. I was trying not to make any trades with my super coach team, but I burned a trade because what I just saw, I forgot about him. I did forget about him. So I thought, after seeing him play week 1, I just went, oh, this kid's going to score a ton. So
yeah, he was a sleeper, and he was cheap too. He was only like 260,000. So everyone slept on him. I'm like, you're here now.
Yeah, I slept on him.
You're going to make a bulk of points.
Did you have Tommy Turbo in your super coach team?
No, I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole, mate.
I did. I went there. 1.2 million, and I burned another trade.
I have Daly Cherry Evans though, and he's burning me nicely at the moment for the price he was.
Yeah, well, Nick has Garrick, and he's burning for her too. So there's a few burners out there, but I was stupid enough to get on the because all the experts were like, oh, you've got to have Tommy. I'm like, he's 1.2 million, and they're playing.
And he's injury prone.
Yeah. So I don't know. He's gone. I think Manly at the bottom of the table. They're not looking very good at the moment. We're sitting. What are we sitting? 8th at the moment. Around about that.
8th,
yeah.
It's only round 2. I mean, I'm living in North Queensland right now. I got a lot of cocky Cowboys fans thinking that you know,
What are they?
they're
They're
sitting in
second,
third place.
third place, is it?
They're like third on points differential or some shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
number
They only
one,
beat
you
the
have to
Bulldogs. I mean, they only
you,
beat the Bullets.
you have to leave Townsville, and number two, you have to play a decent team at some point.
Yeah.
They're playing the Broncos this Friday. Like,
Yeah.
let's see if the smiles are still there come Saturday morning, because I've got a feeling it won't be.
Yeah. Did they beat the Bulldogs? They beat the Bulldogs, didn't they?
No, they lost to the Dogs, but they smashed Canberra.
So how are they in third? Just with one victory?
They obliterated Canberra by like 26 points. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Didn't they have they had the last minute try, the Cowboys, and then it was disallowed.
Disallowed. Yeah.
Anyway, who cares? Who cares about the who cares about the Bulldogs? Who cares about Melbourne? All right, mate. Anyone else in the team that you wanted to go over? It looks like a pretty good team. I think I do have to say, Reid, he seems to have moments of brilliance, but he's not 80 minutes of brilliance, but not many people are. So, and I think Junior Paulo's taken a while to fire as well. And it has to be said, Isaiah Papali's been flat. He's been really flat.
He was all right in the second half against the Sharks, I thought. But I think the one I'm most worried about is Gutho. I think he's really sluggish start to the year. Like, this is a guy who was cracking it for 200 meters a game last year. Yeah. He just seems real tentative, man. Not tentative.
No, I understand why you use that word, because it is definitely. He does seem to be tentative a lot of the time. I don't know. There's something going on. There's something going on with Gutho. I don't know what it is. Maybe we know he's fit. He's always fit. Although it's a couple of photos on the off season, he looked like he had a bit of the dad bod going. He did just have a kid, so maybe he's not getting any sleep.
To have a dad bod down.
Maybe he's not getting any sleep, mate. Maybe that's
maybe he's up at 2:00 every morning feeding Bub, feeding the princess.
Yep, there could be something to it. The princess is going to bring us down, mate. It's like, all right. Well, we'll leave it there. A couple of other reserves. We've got Bryce Cartwright sitting there. Brendan Hands, I'm not too familiar with him. I know that he does play 6 and 9. Like, he could be a backup for Reid. He could be. Yeah. Because Mitch Rain's injured, Murata's injured. We really need Murata into this team. He brings so much power. He brings so much firepower into this team.
He does.
Yeah. So we'll hopefully we'll get him in soon. All right, mate. We might leave it there then. So we are playing the Melbourne Storm Saturday night, 5:30 p.m. It's down there in Amy Park. Have you got a pick the score, mate? Putting you on the spot a bit.
It's going to be a low scoring one, I reckon, mate.
You reckon?
I reckon Parramatta 19, Melbourne 18.
I was going to say 2018 to Parramatta. So there you go. We're both in the same ballpark. As long as it's not 40-0 to Melbourne. We'll be
mate, right. if we miss 50 tackles, it could be. But here's hoping Brad Arthur's got the boys hitting the tackle pads this week and focusing on what they need to focus on, shutting down Pappenhausen and Hughes and Munster. They don't have to worry about Harry Grant or the cheese.
Yeah.
I think we'll embrace the opportunity to go down to Melbourne and get some cohesion back in the squad. So it'll be close. I think we've got the team to do it, but I genuinely do think we do have the team to go down there and knock off the Storm. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, mate. We'll leave it there for the men's. The girls had a fantastic game, I thought. I was going to say very unlucky, but it was a hard fought contest, and we did lose. But what do you think of the game?
Yeah, we showed a lot of heart and a lot of resolve. Maddie Studden and Tiana Penatani were outstanding again. Charrington was great. Simona Taufa was awesome. I missed the first half, but the way we seemed to to bounce back, because we were losing when I switched it over.
Well, they got the
And
jump on us. They got 2 tries real quick, and I thought the girls had a lot of fight in them, and they did claw back, and then they got the lead.
It was eerily similar to the men's game, wasn't it? I mean,
it was a bit, yeah.
The Sharks got the jump on the boys, and the Roosters got the jump on the women, and it was both, heartbreaking losses for both, but there was at least enough resolve and belief in both those squads to take positives out of both of those games.
Yeah. I think
it gets no easier this week because the women are up against the Broncos. So.
Now, the Broncos lost last week, didn't they? They lost to the Titans, I think, by 2 points.
It's only like their 3rd loss in 4 years.
Yeah. So they're going to be looking to bounce back. I don't think we've timed this one well. That's on Sunday, 1:45. It's on KO, which is good. Channel 9 as well.
Where are they playing that one, mate?
That's at Suncorp. So the Broncos have they've even got the home court advantage. I'm a bit worried about this one, to be honest. I think that the Roosters shut down Bovetti very well, and I'm pretty sure that the Broncos will do the same. I mean, she brings us a lot of points, and if you can shut her down, then you're one step closer to beating us. But I think once again we'll learn a lot as a team from playing. We'll know where we are. I mean, but we're starting to move into the territory. We're coming third. We're starting to move into the territory of missing the finals, though, if we keep losing. So
I think this is the last.
I think you're right.
This is the last regular round season game too.
Yeah, semi-finals.
I think this is almost must win.
Is it? I think you're right, because semi-finals is next week, because you're coming down next week, and we were going to go if they were in the semi-finals.
This is the only team we haven't played yet. So yeah, we played everyone else. This is it. We get the big guns in the last week.
Now, what I didn't realize, and it was only brought to my attention yesterday, was this is actually the 2021 comp for the women. So what's happened is their comp got completely stuffed around by COVID. This is explained to me yesterday. So this is the 2021 comp for the girls, and their 2022 comp is going to start in a couple of months' time. So they'll be back.
Oh, wow, we get 2 seasons at
We get 2 seasons.
How good's that?
I'm on board. So
and then when they come back, all these teams are going to have 8 weeks of experience, and they're just like, the second season is going to be better than the first.
It's going to be a brilliant second season. So they're talking about bringing in another 2 teams. Is that going to? I assume that's for next year. So that's for 23. That's not going to be for the 2022 season. I have to do more research. Like I said, I only just found out about it yesterday. I should have looked it up. Sorry, but
it's 6 teams this year. It's 8 teams next year, 2023.
Yeah,
and it's 10 teams in 2024.
Yes. How good.
So the comp is going strength to strength. We're going to have a 10-round competition.
Yeah.
The women are going to be full-time athletes.
Well, they've put a salary cap in there, so how ironic that you put a salary cap in and all of a sudden everyone gets paid more. Like normally in the guys, it limits their pay, but the girls, I think it's 350,000, so it's not that much. But I'm really enjoying the women's league. So yeah, I'm just looking at the page now, and it does say Telstra Women's Premiership 2021. So I don't know when 2022 season's going to start. We'll look that up. We'll know that for next week, and we'll have a chat. But
it's more football to enjoy, and how the women's course been great. The women's course been better than the men's.
It really has. I mean, it's kind of like some old school football. It's like, it's weird. It's
semi-professional football. It's like 80s style football, 90s style football.
Yes. Because they do.
And that's no disrespect to the women.
None at all, because we love it.
Entertaining as hell.
Yeah. And in the 80s, like they used to go, they play football on the weekends and then they'd go to their jobs on the Monday. So, that's what a lot of I think all the girls are doing. So, it's progressing fast. So I think ratings have been good. So.
And so they should be, because the games have been good.
Yeah, agreed. Really enjoyable. All right, buddy, we'll leave it there. So next week, Teamless Tuesday, we'll be finding out what team you're going to be coming down to watch, mate.
Absolutely, I'm keen for it. My first game at Bankwest, or
Yeah, it's gonna be
Combank,
good.
whatever it's called now.
Oh, mate,
Yeah.
it's forever going to be Bankwest. I refuse to call it whatever. They'll change it next year to.
I didn't even want to call it Bankwest. I wanted to keep calling it Parramatta Stadium, but
Yeah,
we
were calling it Wankbest for a while, so we go to Wankbest Stadium. If Combank's involved, then it is Wankbest. So
that's it.
No, not an official sponsor, obviously. Wankbest Stadium.
We've gone from Wankbest to the Comebank. So here we go.
Comeback, yeah, I like it. On that high note, we'll leave it for another week, mate. Have yourself a good one, and we'll see you again next week. And go the boys, and go the girls, and go the Eels.
Go the Eels, mate.